You think I'm worried about the police right now?
No.
Just telling you, I don't give a fuck about no fucking police, you heard?
Mm-hmm.
Bitch, we'll pull up right now. Pull up.
Okay.
Pull up. Pull up.
Uh-huh. No, it was just, I apologize.
What's up?
Because I couldn't go live on my phone. My page is blocked.
Bitch wanna be famous, I'm gonna make her famous.
No.
Wanna be famous, I'm gonna make you famous.
No.
No. Everybody wanna be famous, let's be famous today.
Okay.
Huh? I do.
Yes.
He's telling you I get on these bitches level.
No.
Go.
Stop, Jonathan. Stop, Jonathan.
I'm sorry, RANNITA Williams said with a shaking voice as she looked into her phone camera. It was April 12th, 2018, a date that would sadly become known for a terrible mix of social media and domestic violence. RANNITA was 27 years old. Her eyes nervously moved off the screen while she continued to apologize, speaking to whoever happened to be watching her Facebook Live that morning. Behind the camera, her ex-boyfriend, Jonathan Robinson, stood holding a rifle. "Say something," he ordered from off-screen. RANNITA's fear was clear to anyone watching. She did what he said, speaking directly to Robinson's new girlfriend. What people could not see was that Robinson was pacing back and forth behind the phone, with the gun in his hand. Only minutes earlier, he had kicked down RANNITA's door to force his way inside. The live video lasted almost 8 minutes. Viewers witnessed the situation grow worse as Robinson became more and more angry. Then something horrifying happened. Gunshots were fired. The phone fell to the ground, its camera now showing only the ceiling of RANNITA's home in Shreveport, Louisiana. RANNITA's final moments were broadcast live for the world to see. Outside the house, police officers had already arrived after getting emergency calls. A tense standoff began. Officers tried desperately to reach RANNITA, but Robinson had locked himself inside. He sometimes fired shots at the police through windows and doors. RANNITA Williams, who was lovingly called No by her family and friends, was so much more than just a victim in a viral crime. She was a proud mother of 3 young children. She was a daughter who shared a close bond with her mother, Anita. She was a bright and lively woman who dreamed of a better future. People who knew RANNITA described her as full of life, someone who could light up any room with her smile and kind heart. At 27, RANNITA was trying to build a good life in Shreveport. She worked hard to support her family and create a stable home for her children. She had recently ended a troubled relationship with Robinson and was trying to move forward with her life. Like many young people today, RANNITA used social media to stay connected with friends and share moments of her life. But no one, not even RANNITA, could have imagined that the same platform she used for joy would become the place where her life would end, turning her personal pain into something the whole world would witness. Before we continue with RANNITA's story, please take a moment to subscribe to True Crime Continent to encourage us to bring to you the most true crime stories you have ever heard. This case is very important because it shows warning signs of dangerous relationships, signs that could save someone's life. If you or someone you know is going through something similar, this information could be critical. Don't skip any part of this video. RANNITA's story deserves to be told fully. In the next part, we'll look at how RANNITA's relationship with Robinson started, how his need for control and jealousy grew worse, and how a breakup triggered his violent rage. We'll also talk about what happened during the police standoff, Robinson's arrest, and a powerful moment when RANNITA's mother faced him in court. Most importantly, we'll highlight the warning signs that appeared before the tragedy, and share tips on how to protect yourself or a loved one from relationship violence. This is not just a crime story, it's a lesson everyone should learn. RANNITA Williams was born in the early 1990s in Shreveport, Louisiana. She grew up in a very close family where everyone supported each other. Her mother, Anita Williams, was the most important person in her life. Their relationship was full of love, respect, and strong support, and even as RANNITA grew into an adult, she stayed very close to her mother. This bond gave her strength during the hard times she faced. By her mid-20s, RANNITA had become a mother herself. She had 3 children, and she loved them more than anything in the world. Friends and family often said that RANNITA made being a good mother her top priority. She worked very hard to give her children better opportunities than she had growing up. Her house on Natalie Street in Shreveport became their safe place, a home where she tried to build a strong, stable future for them. RANNITA's extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, also played important roles in her life. They were always there to celebrate her successes and help her through tough times. During holidays and family events, RANNITA was often the person who brought excitement and joy to everyone. Her presence made family gatherings even more special. In her neighborhood, RANNITA was known as someone people could depend on. She was always willing to lend a hand, even though she was busy raising her kids and working hard. These neighborhood friendships became another source of support for her daily life. Everyone who knew RANNITA said the same thing. She was full of positivity. Her laughter was loud, real, and contagious, often filling the room during family events and gatherings with friends. Even though life threw challenges her way, RANNITA stayed strong. She didn't let her hardships break her spirit. She faced every obstacle with determination and hope instead of giving up. RANNITA also had dreams for her future. She was working toward becoming more financially independent. She talked about starting a small business one day, something that would give her both stability and a sense of personal achievement. With her close friends, she would sometimes share her plans, dreams of building something meaningful that could grow over time. Education was very important to RANNITA, especially for her children. She always encouraged them to focus on their schoolwork and to learn as much as they could. She wanted them to have bigger and better opportunities through education. RANNITA even talked about going back to school herself once her children were older, another dream that showed how much she believed in growing and improving herself. RANNITA Williams' relationship with Jonathan Robinson started in a way that seemed normal and full of hope. Friends remembered how, in the beginning, Robinson could be very charming and caring. They met around 2015 through people they both knew in Shreveport. At first, their connection made RANNITA happy. Robinson was 7 years older than her. He was 34 when they met, and he acted like he was mature and well-established. But as time went on, some worrying signs started to show. Robinson became very possessive. At first, it was little things like checking in often. But slowly, those check-ins turned into him constantly asking where RANNITA was and questioning her about who she talked to, especially if it was a man. These behaviors got worse little by little, so at first, it didn't seem like a big red flag to everyone around her. By the middle of 2017, their relationship was clearly not the same. They fought more often, and many of their arguments were about Robinson accusing RANNITA of cheating, even though he had no proof. During these fights, Robinson would sometimes explode with anger, and then later apologize over and over again. This is a very common pattern in abusive relationships, where the victim becomes emotionally trapped between hope and fear. It kept RANNITA tied to the relationship, even though she was feeling more and more unhappy. Her close friends and family noticed changes in her during this time. The bright, lively RANNITA they knew started to seem quieter and more withdrawn, especially around groups of people. When someone asked about Robinson, she would often brush it off, make excuses, or quickly change the subject. This showed that deep down, RANNITA knew something was wrong, even if she wasn't ready to talk about it. By early 2018, RANNITA finally made the brave decision to end things with Robinson. She realized the relationship had become toxic, and that staying could be dangerous for her and her children. Robinson's public defenders immediately began preparing mitigation strategies, while also exploring the possibility of a plea agreement that might spare their client capital punishment. Court appearances throughout the summer and fall revealed Robinson's demeanor had changed dramatically from the day of the murder. During one hearing in July, he broke down sobbing as detectives recounted the crime. When RANNITA's family members became emotional and began leaving the courtroom, Robinson attempted to overturn the defense table, requiring bailiffs to restrain him. By April 2019, approximately 1 year after the murder, a significant development occurred. Robinson expressed his desire to plead guilty and get all this over with. After extensive negotiations between prosecutors and defense attorneys, and, crucially, consultations with RANNITA's family. An agreement was reached. The prosecution would drop pursuit of the death penalty in exchange for Robinson's guilty plea. On April 11, 2019, almost exactly 1 year after taking RANNITA's life, Robinson appeared in court to formalize this agreement. For Anita Williams, RANNITA's mother, the loss created a void that could never be filled. She now faced the responsibility of helping raise her daughter's children, guiding them through grief while managing her own. The children, suddenly motherless, struggled to comprehend why someone would harm the center of their world. Extended family rallied around them, providing practical support and emotional stability. Yet daily reminders of RANNITA's absence, her empty chair at dinner, her voice no longer calling the children for bedtime, continued to trigger waves of grief. The public nature of RANNITA's death added another layer of trauma. Family members had to contend with strangers who had witnessed their loved one's final moments, sometimes approaching them with well-meaning but painful questions. Jonathan Robinson's public defenders quickly started working on ways to lessen his punishment and avoid the death penalty. They also talked about a possible deal where Robinson would plead guilty. During court hearings in the summer and fall, people saw a big change in Robinson compared to the day of the murder. At a hearing in July, Robinson cried hard when detectives talked about what happened to RANNITA. When RANNITA's family became emotional and started leaving the courtroom, Robinson lost control and tried to flip over the defense table. The bailiffs had to step in and hold him back. By April 2019, almost a year after RANNITA's death, something important happened. Robinson said he wanted to plead guilty and get all this over with. After a lot of talks between the prosecutors, defense lawyers, and RANNITA's family, they made a deal. The prosecutors agreed not to seek the death penalty if Robinson pleaded guilty. On April 11, 2019, nearly exactly 1 year after RANNITA was killed, Robinson came to court to make the plea official. For Anita Williams, RANNITA's mother, the pain of losing her daughter was something that would never go away. Now she had to raise RANNITA's children, helping them through their grief while carrying her own heartbreak. The children, who had once counted on their mother for everything, were left trying to understand why someone would hurt the person they loved most. Family members pulled together to support them, offering love, stability, and care. But reminders of RANNITA were everywhere, her empty seat at dinner, her voice missing from bedtime, each one bringing fresh waves of sorrow. The public way RANNITA died made everything harder. Strangers who had seen videos or heard about her death would sometimes approach the family, often meaning well, but still causing more pain by bringing up the awful day. Inside the courtroom on April 11th, Judge Emanuel sentenced Robinson. The room fell completely silent. Robinson was given life in prison without parole for the murder of RANNITA Williams. He also got an extra 100 years for shooting at police officers during the standoff. Altogether, the sentence meant Robinson would spend the rest of his life behind bars. There were more than a dozen bailiffs in the courtroom, ready in case Robinson caused trouble. He was shackled at his hands and feet. But this time, Robinson stayed calm. He looked almost tired, like he finally realized what he had done and accepted his punishment. As bailiffs got ready to take Robinson away, something unexpected happened. Robinson asked if he could say something directly to Anita Williams. The judge, after thinking carefully, allowed it. Facing RANNITA's mother, Robinson spoke in a broken voice. "I'm so sorry I did what I did," he said, tears in his eyes. The room stayed completely silent. "I know I hurt a lot of people myself," he added, his body sagging with the weight of his guilt. It wasn't the first time Robinson had tried to say sorry. Records showed he had written letters to Anita Williams from jail, expressing regret. But no apology could ever bring back what he had taken. Now, standing before her with no way to change his fate, he made one simple request. "I hope one day you forgive me for what I did." Through her own tears, Anita Williams answered, her voice steady. "I forgave you already." Robinson apologized again. Anita looked him in the eye and said firmly, "I accept your apology." Everyone in the courtroom witnessed this moment, a moment that showed an incredible strength few people could imagine. Later, outside the courthouse, Anita Williams shared more about her feelings.
I didn't know it was going to happen. Just never shared it with nobody because I knew what I wanted in my heart and what I believe in. I didn't believe in killing nobody. I never believed in killing nobody. Not just him, nobody. Not even an enemy. So why? No, I'm glad justice has been served. Everything is gone. Everything is okay. So I feel a lot better now. Now I can rest. Now me and my family can go on with our life, you know. It's over with. It's no more. So it's nothing else to talk. The decision has been made between us and everybody else. So we feel a lot better. It hurts me. It hurts me so bad. By killing Jonathan, it's not going to bring RANNITA back. None whatsoever. So decision has been made, and that's what it is.
When did the DA let you know that this would happen?
We have been talking about it about months. We have been talking about months. He had asked me my decision, and he gave me his decision. So at the end of the day, the decision that was made was my decision. So no one else could look at the DA, no one else, no other different. I made that decision. So that is what it is.
Did Robinson reach out to you anyway?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I never let no one know. It was privacy. Every time he reached out to me, I never let no one know. This wasn't the first time he apologized to me. It's about the third time with letters and writing. I just never let no one know what was going on with me. From this time on, it was just private. Whatever went on, it was private between me and my family. Yes, he did reach out, and I forgive him. I forgive him, but I never will forget.
Now me and my family can go on with our life, she added. It's over with. It's no more, so there's nothing else to talk. The decision done been made. RANNITA's tragic story shows us many early warning signs of relationship violence that are important to know. Excessive jealousy and possessiveness were clear from Robinson's behavior. He would always question where RANNITA was and what she was doing. When a partner watches your phone, checks your messages, or demands quick replies, it's not about love, it's about control. Isolation is another big warning sign. Robinson slowly pushed RANNITA away from her family and friends. When someone tries to cut you off from the people who care about you, by starting fights before family events or criticizing your loved ones, it's a serious danger sign. Explosive anger followed by sweet apologies is part of a painful cycle. Victims often end up walking on eggshells, always trying to keep the peace and avoid setting off their partner's rage. This cycle teaches them to accept bad behavior as normal. Financial control is another tool abusers use. When a partner questions your spending, demands access to your accounts, or makes you fully dependent on them for money, they are taking away your freedom to leave. Recognizing these warning signs early can save lives. If you see these patterns in your relationship, it's important to create a safety plan. Talk to trusted friends or family members about what's happening. Make sure someone knows your situation. Keep records of scary incidents with dates and details. Store them somewhere safe where your partner cannot find them. Call a domestic violence hotline for confidential advice. They can help you make a plan that fits your situation. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is always open. 1-800-799-7233. Leaving can be the most dangerous time, as Robinson's case shows. Violence often gets worse when a victim tries to leave. That's why working with professionals, and sometimes involving the police, is so important for safety. If you are supporting someone in a violent relationship, remember, be patient and don't judge them. Offer real help, like a safe place to stay, not just advice. Understand it may take several tries before they can fully leave. Most of all, believe them. Believing them can give them the strength they need to find safety. As one person at RANNITA's memorial said, "Even in death, Nunu Williams is opening doors. Hundreds are coming to hear her message." Another shared, "I think she would want every woman to know that domestic violence should not be tolerated, not in any way. And she would want you to know, it doesn't start with a bruise. It starts with love." Though RANNITA Nunu Williams was taken too soon by her former partner Jonathan Robinson, her kindness, her strength, and her love live on, inspiring others to break free from the cycle of violence. As we close the story of RANNITA Noah Williams, it's important to remember her not just as a victim, but as a full and vibrant person whose life mattered deeply. She was a devoted mother to 3 children, always putting their happiness and future first. She was a loving daughter, tightly connected to her mother, Anita. She was a loyal friend, someone whose smile could light up any room, and whose spirit lifted the people around her. RANNITA was only 27 years old when her life was stolen, a young woman with hopes, dreams, and plans that will now never be fulfilled. Her strength in walking away from a toxic relationship and working hard to rebuild her independence showed incredible courage and resilience. Even though her voice was silenced on that tragic morning in April 2018, her story continues to speak loudly, warning us about the dangers of relationship violence and the early signs we must never ignore. By remembering RANNITA as a whole person, her laughter, her strength, her love for her family, we honor her life far more meaningfully than any headline about her death ever could. As we close the story of RANNITA Noah Williams, it's important to remember her not just as a victim, but as a full and vibrant person whose life mattered deeply. She was a devoted mother to 3 children, always putting their happiness and future first. She was a loving daughter, tightly connected to her mother, Anita. She was a loyal friend, someone whose smile could light up any room, and whose spirit lifted the people around her. RANNITA was only 27 years old when her life was stolen, a young woman with hopes, dreams, and plans that will now never be fulfilled. Her strength in walking away from a toxic relationship and working hard to rebuild her independence showed incredible courage and resilience. Even though her voice was silenced on that tragic morning in April 2018, her story continues to speak loudly, warning us about the dangers of relationship violence and the early signs we must never ignore. By remembering RANNITA as a whole person, her laughter, her strength, her love for her family, we honor her life far more meaningfully than any headline about her death ever could. RANNITA's story teaches us that domestic violence doesn't always start with bruises. It often begins with controlling behaviors, isolation, jealousy, and emotional manipulation. It reminds us that leaving an abusive relationship can be the most dangerous time, requiring support, planning, and community intervention. It shows that domestic violence impacts not just individuals, but entire families, reshaping lives for generations to come. Most of all, it underscores the urgent truth. Believing survivors, listening to warning signs, and offering non-judgmental support can save lives. We owe it to RANNITA, and to countless others whose names we may never know, to act. Educate yourself and others about the early warning signs of abuse. Support domestic violence prevention organizations through donations, volunteering, or simply sharing their resources. Speak up if you see a friend, coworker, or family member experiencing controlling or harmful behavior. Silence protects abusers, action protects victims.